From Idea Grove, my next guest, Scott Baradell, back on the James Show. Listen, Scott, you're the guy, Scott Baradell, who I lean on when it comes to marketing, and I thought of you when we renamed it the Gulf of America, and then within a week we get snow for the first time on the Gulf of America. Did we bring this, our climate changey effects onto this poor body of water?
Yeah, I think, like you said, it's all about rebranding. We're gonna go out with the headline, changing the name has reversed climate change. We don't have to worry about it getting too hot anymore. Now we have to worry about snow in Florida.
Yeah, so we'll just do that to fix the rest of our problems, rename it. I do find that how easy it is to say the Gulf of America. It's only been that way for like a week, and I feel like it's been that way the whole time. I don't think I could ever go back to calling it the Gulf of Mexico.
Well, you're not the only one who feels that way. The Coast Guard is already calling it that. You know, Trump signed an executive order. It's one of those he signed right away, and you've got all the Florida government agencies. And, you know, all those Gulf Coast states, they're all red states. And so all those state governments are quickly changing. I guess it's going to cost a little money, but they're quickly changing all their materials and everything from Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. So it's happening. It's just a matter of whether people outside the U.S. will call it that.
Well, I'm looking at you, Google Maps, because if I zoom out, it still says Gulf of Mexico. So I find that just terribly disappointing. I can't wait for them to come around. But, yeah, you know, it's interesting to see how some rebranding just takes hold immediately like it was always there. And other rebranding, you know, some renames, people push back against it for a long time. Like here in Dallas, I still call the water park Wet and Wild. I know it's Hurricane Harbor, but it's Wet and Wild.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, for me, as someone who knows it from my days, you know, doing projects in the middle of the night as a college student, Kinko's was a brand that, you know, for producing, you know, you're at the copier and you're producing materials in the middle of the night for stuff. It was Kinko's forever, and then FedEx bought it years ago and called it FedEx Office. And to me and the people that were lovers of this copy shop, you know, the FedEx brand was the farthest thing from it. And I still can't call it FedEx. So I'm with you.
You know, that's a really good example, because in all of our minds, FedEx is the fleet of trucks that takes your document from point A to point B. Kinko's is the place where you go print out tons of copies of said document. You're right. That one never took.
No, it didn't. And there have been other examples. It happens all the time. And what brands try to do, I'll give you an example. We work with a partner that's a social media software called Sprout Social. They're one of the big software tools for scheduling posts and things like that. Well, they bought this tool Tagger last year, which was one of the top tools for managing relationships with social media influencers, because they didn't have that part. So after Tagger was a well-known brand in marketing spaces, so they waited about, 6 to 9 months, and now they call it Sprout Social Influencer Marketing. Well, I'm still going to call it Tagger. Maybe eventually I won't, but it's not an easy transition once you get used to it.
Hey, I guess this is kind of one of the things you guys do at Idea Grove. So if you got a brand or a business and you're working on a name change, is that something you can help them with, Scott?
Absolutely. We do it all the time. It's one of the funnest things to do.
All right, there he is. Scott Baradell. How do they find you outside of WBAP?
Just go to ideagrove, like an orange grove.com.
Thank you very much. Scott Baradell on the James Show.